Hey everyone, welcome back for another process video. Today I'm doing a layout using the Bella Boulevard Valentina collection and a cut file from the cut shop. And you can see I took a bunch of pieces of paper and cut them into little rectangles. And I was mostly able to use pieces from like the borders and strips piece of pattern paper, and I was able to cut them in a way that they worked with the way the hearts were cut in half, if that makes any sense. So you see here that I am just taking my Scotch quick dry adhesive and putting a little bit on the back, and then taking the paper and sticking it on there. And you could kind of see how I had my pattern laid out to start with. And so I just stick all of those on, and I am gonna cut the video in a second and then start back up again, because you do not want to watch me do this. This was the longest part of the whole layout, and I did it in more than one sitting because I had to go pick up my kids from school, so I did it later on that evening. So anyways, but this was a really fun collection to work with, and the papers worked really well, even though they don't make 6x6 paper pads, which I would usually want to use a 6x6 paper pad for something like this, but these patterns were small enough that they worked really well. And it turns out I cut way more rectangles than I need in the end, but that's okay. I just put them back in the collection pack, and I will just find a way to use them on something else or in little layers. But I'll find a way, I'm sure. I have a huge stash of Bella Boulevard, so they're one of my favorite manufacturers, because I do love bright colors, and they make a lot of papers with bright colors. So anyways, I'm gonna cut this in just a second, and then you will see that I've got everything backed onto that cardstock. And as soon as I get this piece on there, I believe, and after I do that, though, I'll work on getting my picture stuck down and all of that kind of stuff. And I printed my picture out in two different sizes. I printed a smaller size and a bigger size, and I ended up going with the bigger size, which I think was like a 4x4. And I think the other size I printed out was 3x3. And I just felt like the 3x3 was just getting swallowed up with all of the background that was going on there with the hearts. So, and what I did here is I took that love paper that I also backed my cardstock onto. I gutted the center of it, because that's maybe one of my, that and that ombre paper, those are like my favorites from this collection. So I took the center out of that, and so you can see I used it also as one of the mats around my photo, so that I could make it stand out a little bit more. So, and then I took a piece that had black hearts on it, and then part of that ombre paper. And I kept my photo black and white just because this was so busy, and my daughter was wearing a dress that had lavender and turquoise and a bunch of other colors, so that would not have coordinated well. So printed it in black and white. So I used that sticker right there for my title, and I did pop that up on some dimensional adhesive. And I had kind of picked out some things that I knew I wanted to use ahead of time. I have some of those Bella bows, and so I always forget to use them, and so I pulled them out, and I'm like, I am definitely using one. And then I really loved the little love tab that's in the black, and so I was going to use that, and also this flare button from A Flare for Buttons. And if you haven't checked out A Flare for Buttons for the flare, you really should. She's got some awesome designs, and reasonably priced too, and she's on Etsy. So I do pop that up on dimensional adhesive because it's kind of overlapping that sticker, which is also on dimensional adhesive. So I'm kind of looking around like, what else do I want to do? I didn't want to make it super busy because there is so much going on in the background, and I wanted to make sure that your eye was really drawn into that photo as the focal point. So I did find a sticker on the sticker sheet that I liked, and I'm just trying to figure out where I want to put that. And I end up putting that on dimensional adhesive as well. And I think I'm doing that right now, and I'm figuring out now, and I'm just trying to figure out how many layers I want just to overlap it over. And there was also a smaller sticker sheet with this collection, so I decided to pull that out and look at some of the stickers there as well. And there was also some word stickers and things like that, and I considered using them. You can see them there. But I didn't think that any of them really worked for what I was trying to do. And I thought that I didn't want to get too much text involved in that. And I also considered doing something in the upper left-hand corner with some of those. But I end up not doing that. You'll see me in the video. So I pulled off a little sticker, just a small circular sticker with a white heart on it, and I put that down. And so there we go. I'm taking the sticky off the back of that with my EK Success powder tool, and I'm getting some dimensional adhesive out there, and I'm going to, like I said, pop that up, and so I can figure out where I want that. And I do end up overlapping it over those layers there. And so I think I'm ready to commit, and I'm going to take that sticker now and put it on there. So at least I say I am. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to get my flare put on there, and I'm using that dimensional adhesive, and I did add a little bit more over to the other side because it was kind of like sinking down. So I did that, and getting that where I want it placed, and I'm probably adding even more dimensional. Oh, that's right. I had to add some under the sticker on the end. I did it on both ends so that it wouldn't be dipping down. And so now I will get my flare on there, and I considered like doing maybe some gold thread or some pink thread back there behind my layers, but I decided against that. I didn't want it to get busy. I was afraid it was going to be too busy. So, and I loved this picture of my daughter, and this was just a picture I snapped one day on my iPhone, but I just thought like her expression was great because usually I get this really cheesy grin, and this was like a pretty smile. So, but you know, getting a pretty smile from a toddler, that's crazy. So I felt very lucky to get that smile. So, and I liked the lighting in the picture too. So there was a lot of natural light coming in from the window in the bedroom. So anyways, I am going to, oh yeah, I put some of I used my ATG gun there to put some adhesive on that because I knew I was going to pop up that top part, and I wanted to make sure that it stayed put. And I did consider attaching journaling to that and being able to pull it out and put it back in there, but I'm not going to do that in the end. I'm just going to stick that down and go with that. And I really don't see, I think about adding another flare, but it's too much. So really from here, all I'm going to do is I'm going to add some journaling, which I typed out, and I'm going to put some black Heidi Swapp splatters on there, and just some corners like in the upper right and left, and then bottom right and left corners from a sticker sheet. And that will really be my layout. But you can see I thought about doing another embellishment area there, but it's just not going to happen. It wasn't working to me. It was just too busy with the different patterns going on. Maybe if I had used, one pattern paper or maybe just two, but it was too much. So I'm not sure what I am doing right now, but I do not think that I add anything besides my journaling and the splatters and the corners. So I will have some still shots coming up, and thanks for joining me.